Nate was expounding the concept of evolution. Yeah.
Yes, so. and then when I came, Michael just said what's happening, and like Channon, are you a creationist or a evolutionist? At first I'm a bit confused, and then after a while, oh okay. Then I said I don't know. I just I don't know. I kind of believe in evolution as well, and also
You're not a total creationist. You believe a bit in evolution as well. All right, carry on.
Yeah, and he's like, oh okay, yeah. And then he keeps just giving out the facts and points, and
where it said about God said, "Let us make man in our image."
yeah, and then Nate's like, and then and then I'm like, oh okay, and then I pointed out that who's God talking to, because he's saying us.
Yeah, us and we. Yeah.
Oh, I like.
You were saying us and we. Yeah.
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 And then he said, oh, he's talking to the
Trinity.
Yeah.
This is Trinity.
Yeah, the Trinity.
Jesus and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. At first, I didn't really know, because I don't know all this, a lot of this stuff. Oh, and what is it? Yeah. He told us that, and Nate goes off topic and talks about the Jews and stuff, and then I didn't have a clue. I thought Nate said it originated from the Jews, maybe. I don't know.
It did. He's right.
Judaism.
Judaism.
It's Judaism, and then Christianity branched out and then became its own separate religion.
That's right, son. Yeah. Yeah. The book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible, the first book of the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is from the Jewish Torah, which is pure Judaism. Okay. Pre-existed Christianity. Yeah. Get it? Pre-existed Christianity by about 4,000 years. Yep. And so the first book of the Torah of the Old Testament, Genesis, was written by Moses. Yep. So actually inspired by God, you could say even written by God, and written under inspiration by Moses. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So so Nate's, sorry Mr. Jake, just to clarify, Nate's correct that that part of the scripture is actually based in Judaism. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, okay. So I was all confused, and then it seemed as if Nate was going on about war for a second. So then I'm like, okay, I don't really get what you're saying, Nate. Let's just get on track. And so Nate said something else. I don't remember what it was. And then after that, Michael just debated back and forth, and then and then we start talking about the Jews, and then Ashkenazi Jews. I don't know if we were talking about that. I kind of forgot a lot of it because the debate gone really fast. We after I said it 5 seconds, and he came in, boom boom. It's really fast. And I pointed out something. Let us create man in our image. Yeah. And then I'm like, hey Nathan, he already said it's yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good answer.
Yeah. And then then after that the debate Since it was going forever, we just came around in loops. So I'm like, maybe we should, stop with this debate. It's gonna be an infinite, debate because we have our own opinions and stuff.
Yeah. See, the thing is that most religious people or Christians that you speak to will have an opinion that basically is representative or typical of their denomination or their denominational beliefs, yeah? So whereas some Christian churches, they believe, take for instance, some churches are once saved, always saved, and others are, well, no, once saved doesn't mean always saved, that you've got to work for your salvation and or be judged, yeah? And so, and the two sides of the argument
Or Protestants
are extreme. They're like polarized, and you'll get protagonists from both sides, and highly educated and schooled scholars that have been to theological college and arguing backwards and forwards. No, that's not right interpretation. They'll come backwards and forwards in debating, but very rarely will they kind of change their opinion, change their mind, and change camp. It does happen. It does happen where people have like an epiphany, and they realise, oh, I don't believe that in my heart anymore. I've seen enough evidence that I now accept or have a different viewpoint or a different interpretation. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, this has happened to me a few times, and of course my epiphany and my changing of my perspective and interpretation took place over 30 years, yeah? That long, yeah? Until eventually I came to the point of no return, and I just could not go back to my old way of thinking, yeah? That's the way it is. And like I've said to you boys, I don't try and impose that thinking on you. What I'm trying to do, and I know I have your mum's support in this, is we're raising you with Christian principles, yeah, and we're doing our best to give you a good grounding in Scripture, yeah, in religious perspective.
No,